Historians are often seen as those individuals who are obsessed with the past, its history, culture, people, and events. They live in the realm of academia, where only those with advanced degrees and similar interests cavort together. While that may have been true of historians in the past, the 20th century saw a marked transformation of the field of history and historians themselves. A new sub-branch of history began to grow from the tree of historical knowledge, one concerned with bringing the history of the past out of the secret shadows of academia and into the open realm of the public. Thus, public history was born. Focus on integrating the public's interest in its past, its personal stories and remembered oral histories, and the need to create more accurate representations of the different perspectives of the past. Public history sought to add a new lens through which the general public could view history in the past. As public interest grew, so did the need for public historians who could focus the historical narrative of a local community to represent all stakeholders involved in the creation of the community story. As a result, local communities have come to understand their own history better and can help to preserve an accurate narrative of the past, present, and its ever-evolving future. My name is Tabitha Hughes, and I'd like to invite you on a journey to explore local public history from my own backyard. Welcome to beautiful Aiken, South Carolina, a city in one of the largest counties in South Carolina, Aiken County. Aiken County, located in the Sandhills region of South Carolina, has a very colorful and vast history attached to it. Once home to an early Native American culture that developed the first known pottery in North America, it was later traversed and explored by Hernando de Soto in 1540, as he searched for the fabled gold of the chiefdom of Copachechequi. English pioneers began exploring the Aiken area after the founding of Charlestown in 1670, and in 1715, Aiken County became home to the first garrison of English soldiers whose job was to protect the Carolina interior from their base at Fort Moore. The fort was located near the Savannah River, a natural border separating South Carolina from Georgia, and was an instrumental location in the skirmishes between the early English settlers and the native Indian tribes of the area. Built to protect the ancient Indian trading paths known collectively as the Cherokee Path, the resulting skirmishes escalated into what became known as the Yamasee War. Abandoned in 1746, as Augusta, Georgia became the main trading center of the area, all that remains of the fort today is a historical marker to commemorate where the fort once stood. As settlement of the Carolina colony began to grow, the need for faster transportation arose. As a result, one of the first railroad towns emerged in Aiken County in the mid-1830s as a result of the creation of the world's longest railroad at the time, the South Carolina Canal and Railroad Company. The railroad line was 136 miles long and connected the coastal city of Charleston to the city of Hamburg, which was located on the Savannah River in what would become the city of North Augusta. Because of the importance of the railroad to not only South Carolina, but the Aiken County area as well, eventually both the county and city of Aiken would be named after the first president of the railroad company, Mr. William Aiken. Due to the location of the town of Aiken, its accessibility by train, and the topography of the area, with its sandy soil and higher elevation, many Charlestonian residents fled the oppressive heat of Charleston summers to the Aiken area, framing the town of Aiken's first identity. The Joy Cottage, named for its first proprietor, Miss Sarah Joy, was an early boarding house built in the 1830s for those travelers looking for lodging while traveling. Remodeled in 1897 as a grand estate for Aiken's winter colony, it now boasts 60 rooms. Today, it is the largest private home in South Carolina. Occurring simultaneously to the growth of the town of Aiken, the county itself was also experiencing massive growth and change. In the next segment, we will explore the legacy of one man's vision for a textile industry in South Carolina. Welcome to Graniteville, South Carolina. home to the first large-scale textile mill in the antebellum South. Founded by textile mogul William Gregg in 1845, the Graniteville Mill and subsequent mill town became the realization of Gregg's vision to industrialize the textile manufacturing industry prior to the Civil War. Behind me, you see the picturesque home of William Gregg, also built around the same time that the Graniteville community was created. A native of Virginia, Gregg recognized the need for South Carolina and other southern states to capitalize on the cotton-producing industry by manufacturing the cotton locally in the South, as opposed to shipping cotton crops elsewhere to be processed. Convinced industrialization was the key to the future of the Southern economy, Gregg chose the Horse Creek Valley area as the site of his grand economic venture when he purchased roughly 7,952 acres in 1845. Using local labor, Gregg constructed the Graniteville Canal, the Graniteville Cotton Mill, and the mill town of Graniteville, South Carolina, which consisted of a free school, 2 churches, St. John's Methodist and First Baptist Church of Graniteville, and a plethora of small Gothic-style houses for mill workers and their families. Interestingly, the village of Graniteville was one of the more ornately designed towns in the 19th century. The mill became operational in 1849. Gregg believed in education and was the first to implement a compulsory attendance policy for the children of his mill workers, complete with a fine for non-compliance. Graniteville Academy opened in 1848 and originally served students up to the 6th grade. This is the location of the original academy. Gregg was known to frequently visit the school, which was under a half mile from his home residence, to ensure that the school was operating properly, and was known to bring the students fresh peaches when they were in season. As the town experienced continued growth, the school building was expanded in 1853 to accommodate students from the neighboring communities of Vaucluse and Warrenville. In 1898, a high school was added and graduated its first class the following year. Gregg and Graniteville Mill survived the Civil War, despite most of the South being left in absolute ruin and devastation. Unfortunately, William Gregg died in 1867, just 2 years after the end of the war. Gregg succumbed to illness he contracted while repairing a break in the factory dam. Despite his death, the Graniteville Mill, as well as the town itself, continued to grow and prosper, propelling the state of South Carolina into a leading southern textile manufacturer following the Civil War. Thanks to the manufacturing industry, the railroad industry, and the temperate climate of the Aiken area, Aiken County would become one of the most sought-after locations in America starting in the mid-1800s and continuing into the present day. Active in South Carolina's history, Aikenites participated in the backwoods warfare of the Revolutionary War and later helped to delay General William Sherman's march across South Carolina while saving the town of Aiken at the Battle of Aiken, where Confederate Major General Joseph Wheeler defeated Union General Hugh Judson Kilpatrick on February 11, 1865. The cemetery at First Baptist Church of Aiken bears the memory of the fallen Union soldiers, while the city of Aiken pays homage to the Confederate soldiers with a monument in their honor located in the downtown area of the city. St. John's Methodist Church of Aiken's cemetery holds the graves of the Confederate dead. Following the war, the town of Aiken evolved and reimagined itself as the South embarked on rebuilding after the war. Following the Civil War in 1871, the boundaries for Aiken County were created by taking parts of Barnwell, Edgefield, Lexington, and Orangeburg counties, making Aiken County roughly the size of the state of Rhode Island. The map shows how Aiken County looks today. By the late 1800s, Aiken County's reputation as a health resort spread rapidly throughout the Northeast, resulting in annual pilgrimages by the northern elite to enjoy the county's temperate winter climate, thus making Aiken known as the Winter Colony. While in Aiken, these elites engaged in horse riding and golf, with Aiken providing one of the earliest golf courses in the South. Known as the Palmetto Golf Club, it was founded in 1892 by Thomas Hitchcock, a prominent sportsman from Long Island, New York. The equestrian tradition is still strong in Aiken, with thousands of people from across the world attending the annual Fall Aiken Steeplechase and Spring Aiken Trials. Polo also captivates horse-loving audiences. In the 1950s, Aiken drew national attention when it was selected by the federal government as the site for the new Savannah River plant, a facility dedicated to producing thermonuclear materials at the height of the Cold War. The plant drew an influx of outsiders to the Aiken community, which dramatically changed the life of the county. Today, Aiken is still known for its quaint, small-town feel, its southern hospitality, and its preservation of local history and traditions. In 1977, the city of Aiken received the All-American Award presented by the Civic National League, and in 2003, the city was voted as one of the top 10 places to retire by Where to Retire magazine. And so we have come full circle, a circle which tells the story of one county and two towns' vibrant history and public story. I hope you have enjoyed the journey.